This is the Toyota Hilux. This should be from 2006 to around 2010. I think you'll have this like sort of model. The only like difference is your like AC like dials on the newer ones. They like change to a different like style, but the actual dash looks the same. So if you have the newer one, there is a different SKU. But if you have like these same like dials, this is the SKU you'll need. Not too many like factory options. You can see we've got our factory steering wheel controls. There's no like factory USB, I don't think, on these, and there's obviously like, no reverse camera. So today we're going to be putting a head unit in. This will be the install video. So the first thing you need to do is basically pull off these. So 1, 2, 3, and there's a small Phillips head screw in here that we're going to pull out. So that will come out like that, like so, and then that's pretty much, that should be, so if you get your fingers under the sides here, you'll just be able to slowly like wiggle the actual dash off, and you'll just see in behind here, you got like 2 plugs and you have to come out. They've just got little push buttons underneath and on top. So then you have here, so you got to push that down when it comes out, and under here it's upside down. If it gets a bit tough, just so I'll push it back in and then push it down and pull it out, because like sometimes if you get like halfway it'll get jammed. Then up in the actual radio, 1, 2, 3, 4 10 more bolts need to come out, and then the whole unit will pull out. And then once those 4 have been like taken out, you'll find the whole unit will just pull out, and you just got to take the plugs out of the back, which I'll show you, but they're the exact same as the other plugs we took out before. You got to push down the dial and pull them out, push down the lever, and there you go. So that is the back of that, and in here you can obviously see we unplugged all these, 1, 2, 3, and you just go push down these again, and also our radio plug here. So this is everything you get in the kit. So obviously you got the unit and the fascia looking like that, all built in. In the back here we got our 20-pin main plug, auxiliary plugs, 4G and GPS, and the FM and AM antenna. Then over here we get our adapter harness kit, so that keeps it all plug and play. A third USB, so again that goes into the auxiliary port, and that gives you like a third USB, which can be handy for a cam or something. Auxiliary input, majority of people aren't going to be like using this, but it can give you an extra camera input if you do need it. Like reverse camera input and a front camera, so we will be using one of these because we will be putting reverse camera in this car. USB retention cable, again not needed on this model, but if you do have the factory USB, it will retain that. These are pre-out, so if you want to run an aftermarket like amp, you will be using this. Majority of people will not be, so they'll put that one to the side and actually just use this plug, which is our Bluetooth antenna, which you can plug in like now, so you don't have to worry about it. Our 2 USBs and external mic plug. The SIM card tray, if you want to actually use a SIM card on the unit, it's up to you. The 4G antenna, again for the SIM card, as a G, so the unit can be its own like sat nav. There's a rocker panel switch here, which gives you a tidy way to have 2 USBs, a scan tool for OBD2 data, just a hydration assistant, a reverse camera 1080p, we'll cover that, just some connectors for the reverse camera there, a USB drive to run updates, some trim removal tools if you need them. On this model you don't really, but this is just the AC sticker, the fascia, and obviously like a user manual here for the M series. So that's everything you get in the kit. So you just want to grab the harness here and just check that everything powers up. So the plugs are only going to go where they can go. This has a big one, so that'll go into there. This is the smaller, big one. I say it's big because it's got big pins on it, into there. Again, on some of these cars they actually don't have, on these like Hiluxes, they actually don't even have the factory rear speakers in. I'm unsure on this model, we'll have a look. And then the last one we have should match here hopefully, and that'll be our steering wheel controls, and that should all plug in. If it doesn't like plug in and go, I just check that there isn't any bent like pins in here. If they are just a tiny bit off, just like straighten them up with a small screwdriver, and I will go click in. That's basically so that's all the plugs that I need. You can see here's our FM adapter, but unlike this car, it has a direct like circle one. So like basically we're just going to plug this direct into our unit. We aren't going to actually be like using this. We will be using these little blue wires here, which give power to the antenna amp. If you don't have them plugged in, you'll find your AM radio reception will be bad. So what you want to do is you want to come in and check. You can see 2 blue wires here. What one has a wire on the other side, and they both don't. So on this one it must not have one, so it's fine. But if you did have just obviously one of these had a wire on them, then you just want to make sure that you match that one up to this plug. So you can obviously swap these 2 plugs around to which one you need to have power on it. So we're just going to check that everything powers up now, and the steering wheel controls will work, because that's about the only options we have to check. Not that one, remember, it's this one here. So hopefully you should get power to this, and we should get some sound, and we'll just check that the steering wheel controls work, and then we can actually go and put all the other wires in. So we're getting sound, which is okay. Now, if I push the steering wheel controls here, see like nothing's like happening, but if we come into settings, car infotainment, steering wheel control, and if I push like volume up here, it'll start to flash, and I'll push on the steering wheel and it's gonna look solid. I'll push like volume down here and other volume down the steering wheel, and you can just obviously quickly see here that the other steering wheel controls are working all good, and we'll go through and like learn them all at the end. So that is like basically pretty much everything we have to check, and now we can go and put all the other cables in, which will probably actually do the reverse camera now.
No, didn't hear about this.
So when you're running the camera, so what happens here is you obviously have the camera, you have a red one for like power, and it's like a yellow one for video feed. Now the power feeds here, and so the red and black wire here have to go to your reverse lights. So on this like sort of Hilux, if you like pop these two bolts out, you can actually get in and your reverse light system there. You can just tap the power off there, just the positive. You don't even need to actually do like negative, you can just do like the positive. And so the positive will tap into there, and that'll give you your power. And then the other end, obviously the RCA is going to sort of plug into there, and then so obviously this RCA is actually going to head into the back of your head unit, and this is your trigger wire. We'll explain that in a second, but this car we've actually put one of our dual dash cameras in. So we've used the reverse camera as the dash camera as rear camera, which is a handy thing to do if you want, because you're going to be like running the reverse camera as well, so you like might as well sort of run a rear camera. So obviously we've tucked the wire in, and we've tapped it into the reverse lights. Always run it like around the outside of the car first and like test it. And in this case here, we've taken it through and under. We actually took it down inside the chassis rail there, and it's just popped out there, and there's a small grommet above that actually comes in underneath the seat here. You can see here's like a wire. This bit of trim you can just like pull off of your hands. It's just got some like clips on it. And this other wire here will run up behind there and behind the head unit. The other end of it is just an RCA plug and a trigger wire. So you can see the trigger wire we've just hooked up to test it like works there like that, to the orange and black like reverse in, and the RCA's is gone to the purple cam in plug, which is plugged into there. So you always want to just check it like works before you go and get too serious about it all, because you don't have to pull things back out. And because we were using the dual dash camera one here, you can see that's the front dash camera. We were just like setting it all up just to make sure it is working okay. So if you are into a reverse camera, that is what you do. And we include one in the kit, but if you do want to do the dual camera, the dual dash camera, you can grab one of those as well, and like then you could use that like second camera that was in the kit as a front camera or something if you wanted to. So I'll just take you guys through the reverse camera a bit more. There's two 10mm screws there, and then you'll find this light will just pull out. So, sorry, one hand. It's just got a small little two clips and sort of there and there that it like pushes into. Then you can obviously see the bottom is reverse. So the red is going to be the power, and the white and black is the ground, and it's the same ground for all of them. And then so what we do is we just like tap into just the power we want. So I'll use the SPL connector that comes in the kit. We strip our red wire and our DC plug here, and we plug it into into one side. We chop this red and blue wire here. We put one into this side, and the other one goes into there. So you have to strip these, and then just lift up the lever, stick it in, close it. That gives you a pretty easy connection. We've just tucked it down there, and I'll show you where it goes to. So again, that's just giving us our power from our reverse light. So if we come under here, you can see it's come down here. I haven't tidied it up yet, but this here, because this is our rear dash cam model, if it was our the other one, it'll be the same. You're still going to have a red and black. So just these plugs are going to look a bit different. You're going to have a DC plug and a yellow RCA plug, but it's the same thing at the end of the day. So the power's there, and then we've taken this wire through here, and we've got the camera sitting above the number plate, and we'll drill it in soon. And then this cable's gone all the way along, and then up over here we will tidy this up, and then we've actually put it through that chassis rail there. Now we've just used the cable puller for that, and we've started including the cable pullers in our kit. So if you don't have one, you can use whatever else you have available. But we've just taken it through here, and then we've come out this hole here, and then there's a small grommet up in here we've popped out, and we'll put the yellow wire through. Now to put the yellow wire through, there's a couple options. You can put a hole in it, or we've like a knife and then tuck it through. Just like whatever you do, just like make sure to put a bit of like silicone or whatever back on there after you're done to like seal it up again. Or the other option is you could have run it across where some of these other cables come and then gone and sort of followed them. But so that's popped up there, and that's popped out underneath the seat here. We've like popped that trimmed off. I showed you before, and we've taken it up under there, and the like yellow RCA has gone to the back of our purple cam in, and that trigger cable has gone to our orange and black reverse in wire. So now we're just going to go through and just sort of put all the sort of wires we do need actually in here. So we've got our dual USBs here, an external mic. This is our dual USB and external mic. So we're going to run an external mic, and we are going to put like one of these, so obviously USBs we'll put in the glove box, and the other USB we're going to plug into our dual rocker switch. So I will cover that now. We will put the dual rocker switch in. It's probably the best place to start. So you've got a few blanks on here. Probably going to use one of these ones down here. And so what you get in so this little kit is just one of these. So the top's going to be a quick charge port, and the bottom is going to be a pass-through USB that's going to connect to our head unit. So what you have down the bottom here is you just got this like trim panel, and if you actually put one of our trim tools in the top, you'll be able to lever it off. It's just got clips. And then if you do unplug the back of your cigarette lighter over here, you'll find we include a piggyback cord. So you just got to clip that into there and plug this back in, and that's going to just tap into there for power. Just saves having to tap into any type of power. And then you just need to pull out obviously one of your rocker switch, feed this through. So that's our power one. So in the back of here, they can only go where they go. It should be over there, doesn't matter. That can go into the back of here like so. Just these little switches, it does pay to give them a little push with this, because they can be a bit tight to get the plug into. You'll see actually once you clip them in, they sit in pretty flush. And then the other end of that is going to be this one, which is actually the pass-through USB. So if you pull that out, this one will be plugging into here. So we can tuck this down at the bottom here and pull it through, and this one's just going to plug into one of our USBs. It's just going to pass through to our units. This gives a tidy way to have a USB. And again, push that in, give this a little extra push with one of the trim tools, make sure it's all clipped in nicely. There you go, it goes clipped pretty well. And then you can feed those cables back through, make sure you put it the right way, and that gives you a fairly tidy quick charge port and a USB pass through. Then here we have our dual USBs. So one of them is that one we just did, so you can plug that into either one. I'll plug into the Carplay one like so. You can sort of tape that up a bit. So this one here I'm going to tuck into the glove box, so you can probably run it down with your hands fairly easy on these models and pull it into the glove box like so. So that's coming out the glove box. We'll tie that up. External mic, you should get one of those in the kit, and it looks this, whenever I put it on my hand, it just looks like this one here. We will run this up now, so that's obviously going to plug into here. Give it a good hard push and it'll go click. We will show you how you run this now. So on here you have your grab handle. It just has the two trim tabs on the top. You can pop off with a trim tool, and then there's just two Phillips screws or 10 mils in there. Then when you get into your sort of trim panel here, you'll find you just get your fingers in here and give this a bit of a pull. You'll find it will just pop off, and you can actually pop the whole one off, and that's just going to allow us to actually run the microphone on the top here, and we're also going to run the front dash camera just down there as well. So what we've done here is I'll run the external mic up to here, so we'll actually stick this on here. We've actually run these two cables for this front dash camera as well. Coming down here, we've tucked these down. We've just used a cable puller and we've tucked them, and they've popped out here. I'll run them above the pedals up, and they've come out behind here. So one of those USBs for the front dash cam is gone into here. That's our pink one, our extra USB. The other one's gone into our dual one, which is here, and that's where our external mic is gone into as well. That other USB from this dual one here we've put into here, and we've put the SIM card into here too. So that SIM card is this plug here, green plug, and then the plugs were left over with, and I actually did chop this one off because this wasn't needed. Just make sure that this blue bit that is hanging off is clean, because this will have 12 volt coming down it when the radio is on. So that's not needed, as we're going to plug directly in. That's our trigger wire from our camera, so that's on the orange and black, that says reverse in, and that goes into our purple cam in. I've just taped these other ones up for like a second camera, but we're not like using them. And then we've just got a couple more wires down here. So you've got your Jeep. This here can pretty much go like so anywhere as long as it can see through like the windscreen and it hasn't got like metal above it. So this model has this bit here, so you have got a bit of, so you have to go past that and behind it, and you can actually put the GSP, the S up behind there somewhere. So you just want to peel off this here and run it back and find a good spot to put that, and then that's just going to go into the Jeep's plug. And you got your free 4G antenna, which might not be getting like used if you're using a SIM card or not, but that can pretty much sit like in behind here anywhere, because it's just like your phone. It's going to get reception when it's in your car. So we're just going to stick that pretty much straight onto here like so, and that is the 4G plug there. And that basically covers all the plugs, so we can go and put the unit in now, and I'll make sure it's all like powering up and test everything, and then we'll go. So then in here you've got your your sort of AC vents have to come off. You can see there's a few little clips here. What you'll actually find is if you just sort of pop them off top to bottom and then come and have a look at the inside. It's got one at the top that needs to pop down, and then there'll be one on the bottom somewhere. Here we go here, and that will just slide off like that. So you had a clip there, that clip at the top, and the clips on this side, and then that's going to go over and slot into our fascia over here. So we've taken like these off, so they have popped into there, and now we've just got to unscrew 1, 2, 3, 4. These like switches come out. Sorry, you don't have to unscrew them. I think they can just push in the little trim bits. And then we've also got the clips that pop. So to pop lights, like these are the old ones. You just got to flick in the 2 tabs on either side there. So just use like a small like sort of flat head, and I pull one side in, and then I pull the other side in, and that'll like pop up. And the clips are the same. You can just use like a flat head on one side, and like this, just flick them off. Just be ready to catch them because they can fly off. And then obviously we're going to come in over here, slip these onto here and to here. And there was one like sort of missing, so we'll actually check behind the dash for that, because they sometimes do drop down. So the AC sticks are gone on the front, the 2 other buttons are in, the other vents are on, and the clips are on the back. So now we'll go and like put it in, and we'll just check if everything's working. So here we go into here. So I normally like to start from like one side and work my way to the other side, so I try not to forget anything. So we go our main 20 pin plug here, our black one, plug that in. I'll take things up a bit here. You can take them up like a little bit to obviously tidy them up. Can you hold that for a second, mate? So we've got here the main 20 pin plug, and then we go into all our auxiliaries. Like make sure you have your Bluetooth like one in there, camera, 2 USBs, 4G SIM. These ones can only plug where they can go into. You can put a smaller one to like a bigger one, so just be careful. So that's basically all that in. That's all looking okay. We've taped all these up, tied them up a bit. All the wires you can kind of tape and tidy as bucket back as much as you want, but the kind of idea is it all sort of sits in here and then drops down behind the unit. Then it's got to twist the unit in a bit closer here. And we got our 4G, sorry, can't see this, our 4G, GPS, and our FS or AM antenna in here. Now that is everything plugged in, I'm pretty sure. But then I like to sort of sit it here and just test, and just like remember you had these 2 plugs to go onto your climate part. So if we just sit the unit in here like this for now, and we'll power the car up, and we'll just check everything works. This is always the best check to do, because if something's not working, now's the time to pick it up. So you can see the QC charge will come on there when the car's on. That's where you know that's got power, and you know you got power there.
8. Dragons coach Shane Flanagan says the equation.
Steering wheel controls like radio, sound, go into reverse. We haven't put the reverse camera in the correct space, but you can see it's working. So those are basically all the things you want to check: your steering wheel controls, sound, radio reception, and your quick charge got power there. Right, so we've turned it on, we've checked reverse camera's working, steering wheel controls. All this here can finish off a bit, obviously a bit later on, but trim goes back on. We normally just tuck this up into the headline in here. We've put the dash camera in. You might not have to do the dash camera. These cables have come down here. We just popped this piece of trim off, which just has a screw in the back here. You unscrew and that pops off, and we had the other piece off here just when putting the reverse camera in. So now that's all done. All you do is just line this up, and you just slowly push it in. You'll feel it all click in. There's only a few clips on it, so you'll feel how it clips in like so. And you just line all these ones up. Oh, and then you make sure nothing's... Oh, that's why you always double check, because I forgot something already. Our 2 buttons down the bottom here. You got your Hazzard button and your AC button. Make sure you clip those 2 in. I was wondering why there was one hanging loose there. And when I did put this back in, these trim clips, they do like to sit back in here, so you can pop it back out. It is good. A little screwdriver, but they do like to just drop out of the way, those ones. You try not to drop it down the dash like I'm good at doing. Got it. So back on. Again, these cables on the back here, the idea is they sort of go in and then tuck down. Plenty of room in this one, so you don't have to go too hard out with it. We just sort of check that they're all going to go in the right spot. Line those top clips up, your AC ones, and you'll feel it all sort of sit in quite nicely. And then you give it a bit of a push and you'll feel it all clip in. And that is basically how this clips in, like so. Then obviously you had your one little Phillips screw one. If you remember this in the start, you might have forgot it. That needs to go in, like so in here. Now on some dashes, you can see this sort of like lip sticks out a bit. It's 50-50 if it does or not on some of them. It's not the end of the world, you can sort of see it there. I'll show you the side profile. It's just because on some dashes it does and some it looks like it doesn't. I think it's just the fact that over time the dashes sort of obviously moved and sort of moulded a bit, as these cars are quite old. And the actual old sort of fascia has sort of moved and moulded with the dash. So you do have that a little bit. If you do really care about that, I'm just trying to think what your best option is. It's probably just to put a little bit of double side tape in there. It's not a big issue, you can hardly even tell it really. It's just up to the person if you think it's a big problem or not. I have showed it in video so you can see it. But that's the whole thing in again, like so. All looking pretty good. You can peel off your screen, you can turn it on. Always like to do the triple double check of turning on. You can even start the car up, make sure everything's all happy days. So you can see there, taking the time. Radio coming in. Now the steering wheel controls come into here, like I showed you at the start. This is the one. Now we've got skip on here, so press skip, and then you press the button on here, and you see how that's flashing, and it stops when I push skip. And then back, and then for mode you can choose whatever you want. You can do home like mode. I'll do home for now. In the future we have an update coming up that will make that sort of mode button a bit more useful again. So we will bring out that when that comes out. Obviously that is all of that. Do a reverse camera, not in the correct spot yet, but you at least can check that it's all working. Nice quality there. This has got a dual dash camera in it, so what I would actually do would be delete this one and throw our dash camera app on the home screen here. Just going to give you the front camera, which needs to be adjusted a bit. That's probably not much good catching the roof, like so. And then obviously the rear camera is our reverse camera, and this is CarPlay here, so I'll show you how you hook CarPlay up. So CarPlay, basically you come in here, Bluetooth, search for it. Apple or iPhone, you just might need to learn and relearn it, depending what sort of thing you have. For some reason on iPhones, you got to go right into the Bluetooth and actually turn it off and on, and you'll see it'll come up. I'm not Tony. This is me here. So join this. You'll get a few pop-ups on your phone, probably. Yes, pair, allow. It just uses Bluetooth to say, hey, my phone's here. Then it's actually going to hook up over your phone's hotspot. So what we'll do is it's hooked up to Bluetooth now, but we've done it automatically. This is the CarPlay bit. You're going to get a pop-up on your phone saying, use CarPlay, and then you're going to be straight into CarPlay here, and this is your wireless CarPlay coming up. So all pretty awesome and all pretty easy once it's hooked up. Great little update for these cars, as they are beautiful utes. Just need a bit of an update on this unit and we're good to go.